In this video, I'm going to introduce the three fundamental trigonometric functions, sine, cosine, and tangent, and derive the behaviour of the sine and cosine functions by tracing a route around a unit circle. The tangent function will be dealt with in more detail in Trigonometric Functions 2. Before we proceed, let's remind ourselves about the radian as a measure of angle. 1 radian is the angle subtended at the centre of a circle by an arc equal in length to the radius. Now, suppose we have an angle theta. The convention is to measure theta relative to an x-axis, with positive theta measured in an anti-clockwise direction. Another way to think of this definition is to consider a unit circle, that is, a circle that has a radius of 1. The angle theta in radians is then the length of the arc along the unit circle. Similarly, if we consider a circle of radius r, then an angle of theta radians corresponds to an arc length of r times theta. Trigonometric functions are best visualized by thinking about angles relative to a pair of orthogonal axes, such as the xy axes shown here. Let's consider a point A with coordinates xy and draw a line from the origin to that point, shown here in red. Then we can define the angle theta corresponding to that point as the angle between the x-axis and the line OA, where O is the origin. For convenience, let's denote the distance of xy from the origin, i.e. the length of OA, to be r. The trigonometric functions are defined as follows. The sine of theta, written sine theta, is y divided by r. The cosine of theta, written cos theta, is x divided by r. And the tangent of theta, written tan theta, is y divided by x. If you are familiar with sine, cosine, and tangent defined only for acute angles, i.e. angles smaller than a right angle, then this might look a little different from what you're used to. So let's have a look at that before we move on. Let's suppose that theta is an acute angle, i.e. an angle less than pi over 2 radians, or 90 degrees. Then we can draw a right-angled triangle containing the angle theta as shown here. Now, the height of this triangle, y, is the length of the side opposite to angle theta. The width of the triangle, x, is the length of the adjacent side, and r is the length of the hypotenuse of the triangle. For this case, we thus have sine theta equal to opposite over hypotenuse, cos theta equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan theta equal to opposite over adjacent, which are the standard definitions of the trigonometric ratios in right-angled triangles. The advantage of the general definitions I've given above is that they apply to any angle, not just acute angles. Okay, so what does happen when we have larger angles? To help us visualize this, I construct a circle centered on the origin going through the point A. Further, to make things simple, we set the distance of A from the origin to be 1, so that our circle has a radius of 1. Well, in this case, the definitions we have for sine and cosine reduce to the sine of theta being equal to the y-coordinate of the point A, and the cosine of theta being equal to the x-coordinate of A. Let's look at the sine function first. I'm going to plot two axes alongside my circle. The first axis, what is generally referred to as the abscissa, is going to be the angle theta between the line OA and the x-axis, measured in radians. And the second axis, the ordinate, is simply the y-coordinate of A, which is of course equal to sine theta. Because we're on a unit circle, we can see that the maximum and minimum values for y are going to be 1 and minus 1. Now, let's mark up a few angles along the theta axis and see what we get. If we start with a point A on the x-axis, i.e. an angle of 0 radians, it's clear that the y-coordinate of the point is 0. So I plot the point 0, 0 on my theta y axes. Let's go next to an angle of pi over 6 radians. I can trace a line across from my point A and plot this value of y on the theta y axes. Going next to pi by 3 radians, I have this point. At pi by 2 radians, I'm at the top of the circle, giving me a y value of 1. And I can keep on going. 2 pi by 3, 5 pi by 6, and pi, which is back on the x-axis and hence has a y value of 0. And so on. Once we get to 2 pi radians, we are back to where we started, and it's clear that the values will repeat if I continue to go around the circle. What about negative angles, i.e. the case where we move clockwise around the circle instead of anti-clockwise? Well, for an angle of minus pi by 6, we have this point, and minus pi by 3, minus pi by 2 takes us to y equal to minus 1, and so on. We can keep going, and it's clear that the pattern will just repeat itself because we are moving round the circle. We thus get a function that looks like this. This is what is known as a sine wave, and it repeats over any interval of 2 pi radians, since 2 pi is one complete circuit of the unit circle. Now, we also know from our trigonometric function definitions that for a unit circle, the cosine of theta is simply the x-coordinate. So let's draw a new set of axes where theta is again the abscissa and x is the ordinate. Marking up a few angles as I did before, we can follow the same procedure as we did for sine x. First, we take an angle of 0. This point has an x-coordinate of 1, so I plot the point 0, 1 on the theta x-axis. Next, we go to pi by 6 radians and plot this point on the theta x-axis. Pi by 3 radians, pi by 2, which is on the y-axis and thus has an x-coordinate of 0, 2 pi by 3, 5 pi by 6, and pi, which is a half turn corresponding to x equals minus 1. We thus have a function that looks like this. This function must, by definition, behave in the same way as the sine function, since again we are measuring perpendicular distances from an axis passing through the centre of the circle. If we think about it, it's also clear that as well as having the same shape as the sine function, it's shifted by pi over 2 radians, since our start point for cosine is at right angles to the start point for sine. This is what our two functions look like plotted one above the other. The tangent function, which we see sketched here, has very different behaviour to the sine and cosine functions. I will discuss this in some detail in the next video in this series, Trigonometric Functions 2. Until then,